guys, how are we all doing? Welcome back to Premier League predictions for some massive games coming this weekend, Sophie. We are closing in on Christmas time, which means the Premier League is relentless. How are you doing?
Yeah, what a weekend that was. Some of those scorelines, whew.
Unbelievable. And once again, we hit the biggest like target ever, because every time we do that, we add an extra 100, meaning the like target this week is 2,100. Ridiculously big target. Please make sure to hit that thumbs up button. If you do, I'm sure we can hit that like target. It's a tall order. We've never not hit it, so please do make sure to drop a like and support us. While you are there, also make sure you've hit the subscribe button. It's free to subscribe, and as you can see, we are really close to 50,000 subscribers now. It would mean a lot to us if we can do it, so please do make sure to subscribe whilst liking. The scores from our Premier League predictions last week, Sophie, is that I've beat you 8-6, which means once again we're level on points.
Oh, it's neck and neck, this.
104 to 104.
It's so tight.
It's all to play for. So let's get straight into the Premier League predictions for this weekend, Sophie. Kicking things off on Friday night at the City Ground as Nottingham Forest take on Tottenham Hotspur. Huge game. Huge game. Going into the last weekend, it was two managers really kind of under the pressure.
Yeah.
Steve Cooper maybe more under the microscope.
Oh, definitely, yeah.
And they both picked up results. Forest got a 1-1 draw against Wolves, which is interesting. Has it saved Steve Cooper, or has it just kicked the can down the road? Whereas Tottenham Hotspur, they got that great 4-1 win against Newcastle. You know, we've said before how they play football. There will be those defeats, there will be those games where they concede loads of goals, but on the other hand, they can score lots of goals, and I thought they were devastating in that game. This one's interesting, Sophie. Friday night, under the lights at the City Ground. Once again, it does feel like we're in a position where if Forest lose, Cooper is... he's walking the plank, possibly.
Possibly, yeah. I don't think they're expected to win this one, though, so maybe not so much pressure.
But I think Marinakis, as an owner, is one that could be very unforgiving.
Yeah.
And although my personal opinions are that I like Steve Cooper and I think maybe he should get some more time, the results don't lie. It's not a great run for Forest. Do you know what? I think recently Steve Cooper's been picking players that he think can fight for him and save him and save this club from possibly relegation. And I think Forest are going to get a draw. Spurs are very open. They'll score, but they'll also concede, Sophie.
Yeah.
And Forest are going to get a draw that will keep Steve Cooper in a job for now. Forest 2, Tottenham 2.
No. Spurs win this. Spurs, the way they play, I agree they're going to concede in this one, but they're going to outscore them. For me, Spurs, they put in a very good performance against the tired Newcastle team. I will give Nottingham Forest their dues. They did get a draw against Wolves, but their form before that can't be ignored. So for me, Spurs win 3-1.
3-1 Spurs.
Yeah.
Do you hate Steve Cooper or something?
No, I like him, actually.
Wow. Disgusting. On to the next one, Sophie. Let's go to the South Coast as AFC Bournemouth take on Luton Town. Really fascinating match this, isn't it, Sophie? Like, once again, when you step back, big picture, this is a Premier League game. You know, no disrespect, by the way. I'm just saying, you know, 10 years ago, I would have never thought this to be a Premier League game.
No, not at all.
Incredible. And they both deserve to be here. They've both done incredible to get here. Let's talk about them, Sophie. AFC Bournemouth.
Title contenders.
They are on a charge. Yeah. And I did back them to beat Manchester United.
Yeah, well done.
But I only said 2-1, to be fair, and they went and won 3-0. They are so good.
Do you know what I will say, actually? That 4-0 one, I watched the highlights again, and if it got ruled out for handball, surely it was a penalty, because Onana made contact anyway, so it should have been 4-0 for me.
You reckon?
But yeah, anyway.
Yeah. As for Luton Town, Sophie, they took on Manchester City. They took the lead, but fell short in the end, and that is something that's so frustrating with Luton here. There's many occasions where they've lost by just one goal. I think this might go the same way. I really like how competitive Luton Town have been. They've got to try and turn those defeats by one goal into draws or something. But Bournemouth just keep winning. I think this is a harder game for Bournemouth, by the way, than Manchester United.
Okay.
Right now, Luton Town are better than Manchester United. I think Bournemouth just get the win, though. You can't go against them right now.
You can't.
But Luton, once again, just losing by one goal. So I'm going to go with the Bournemouth 2, Luton 1 as a prediction.
Yeah, the thing is, Luton look stronger at home, which we did predict for this season, that they'll get most of their points or possible points being at home. But Bournemouth are absolutely flying. I might go for Bournemouth getting the same scoreline, actually. I do agree it's going to be a harder game. I feel like it might even be 0-0 at half time, but second half Luton seems to crumble a little bit, and I feel like Bournemouth are going to capitalise on that. So again, they win. Cherry 3-0.
3-0. It's difficult, isn't it? You don't want to disrespect either team here, Sophie, because Bournemouth just keep winning. They just keep winning. And Luton Town, they're not winning a lot, but they're not losing by many. So that's why I've gone for 2-1. But we'll see. We'll see. Bournemouth and Luton fans, share your thoughts. It would be great if you could both stay up. Bournemouth are certainly heading that way. Luton Town, they're still in the mix. We shall see. On to the next one, Sophie. We're going to Stamford Bridge. Chelsea take on Sheffield United. Chelsea lost to Everton. Not really any disgrace in that, because Everton are beating everyone at the moment. Sheffield United got a great win under Chris Wilder.
Well done, by the way, for calling that. Did not see that happening.
I did back them. I did back them to beat Brentford. I'm telling you, Sophie, Chris Wilder is a dogged manager. He will get... It's like being in the trenches and having a general who can lead you through it. Mentally, he'll keep you up to it. And I reckon Sheffield United are getting a point. They're coming to Stamford Bridge and they're getting a point. They played Liverpool. They lost 2-0. Then it was Brentford at home. That's also a difficult game. They beat them. You know... Is this as difficult as maybe those two? I don't know with Chelsea.
I don't know.
Chelsea can turn it on, but at the same time, I don't know if I can trust them. So I'm going to go for Chelsea to drop some points here. Chelsea 1, Sheffield United 1. The Blades fans, I'm telling you, you've got a chance this season with Chris Wilder.
I agree, they've got a chance, but I just feel like with Chelsea, you just don't know what to expect. They've been hit by another injury with Reece James. I mean, at this point, he spends more time on the physio bench than on the pitch. I feel for the guy, but they've had so many injuries, so I don't know. I do feel like this is going to be a tight game, but I am going to lean towards the home side. I might say 1-0 Chelsea.
Really?
Yeah, Chris Wilder do make it really hard for teams to break them down.
Yeah.
We've seen that already. It'd be interesting to see if they've got that in them to get the win or get a draw or something. But I don't know.
I think what's interesting about this game is Chelsea, the game's usually quite open, whereas Chris Wilder will try and keep it cagey.
Yes.
We shall see. Share your predictions for Chelsea v Sheffield United. On to the next game, Sophie. We are going to the Etihad as Manchester City take on Crystal Palace. Manchester City, Sophie, got back to winning ways against Luton Town. Yep. It was just about getting the 3 points, wasn't it?
Yeah. I mean, first half you thought, ooh, are they going to drop points? Then you remember, actually, Luton Town are a 45-minute kind of team. So,
yeah,
Man City aren't, obviously.
Very true. As for Crystal Palace, they really did look like they were going to get something against Liverpool. They took the lead. They, were level going into the last minutes. And then Liverpool snatched the points. The pressure is still there on Roy Hodgson. And to be honest, this is not an ideal game for Crystal Palace. I don't really see them turning around their fortunes in this game. I'm going to go Manchester City to win 3-1.
3-0 for me. I think Man City really need a clean sheet. Edison hasn't looked the same as he has past couple of seasons, so I think a clean sheet would do him and the defence a world of good. Crystal Palace, at times, I don't know what to say about you guys, to be honest. At times, you're a little bit of a struggle to watch, and then you get something out of nowhere. So, strange team, but for me, Man City back up their previous win with another win and a little bit more convincing. 3-0.
3-0 to Manchester City. There you go. Share your predictions for Man City v Crystal Palace, guys. Palace, I think they have before sometimes tripped City up, but will they on this occasion? It's hard to see it. On to the next game, Sophie, as Newcastle United take on Fulham. Are we thinking a 5-0 away win, maybe?
No, maybe 3.
Yeah. Really, really interesting the way this game's come about. Once again, if you go back to the start of the season, you'd probably be pretty heavy on Newcastle. They are stronger at home than they are away. And Fulham, the things we were saying about them was they missed Mitrovic, not scoring as many. They've scored 16 in their last 4.
Yeah, I mean, Jimenez has hit good form at a good time.
Oh.
And they're just wiping the floor with teams at the moment.
I mean, something you pointed out to me yesterday is it's not just that they've won back-to-back 5-0 games, but before that, they'd scored 3 at Liverpool, 3 against Wolves.
Yes. Yeah,
so that's 16. I mean, in 4. Ridiculous. Difficult, Sophie. It really is difficult. Newcastle are struggling with injuries, but they have got that home advantage. But Fulham, oh God, I've got to reward them. Do you know what, Soph? I'm going to go Desmond. I'm going to go Desmond. I think Newcastle United won't just roll over when they're at home. But Fulham, I don't know if I can go against them. 2-2.
Yeah, I feel like Newcastle won't intentionally roll over when they're at home, but they are looking tired. They've got another game midweek, which they're going to have to rotate for. But if you look at their bench, they've got no options. They are really injury struck. The keeper that they've got in at the moment, Dubravka, didn't have a very good game against Spurs, did he? I can't knock back Fulham. 3-1.
3-1?
3-1 Fulham, yeah. Got to give them their dues.
Wow.
Yeah, they're scoring goals, and Newcastle are conceding goals. They're looking tired, so I can see 3-1 happening.
Yeah, share your predictions for Newcastle Fulham. Do Fulham continue this impressive run, or do Newcastle get something? On to the next one, Sophie, as we go to Turf Moor. Burnley versus Everton. Another team in great form, Sophie, is Everton.
Everton, bloody hell, they're flying.
They would be 10th, only a couple points behind the European places if you added their 10 points back on. And it's good. Do you know what? This is good. I never want to see a team go down because of a points deduction.
No.
For me, this is good for football. This is good for football. Everton, I think you're going to win again, to be honest. But let's talk about Burnley, Sophie, because not many people would have predicted them to go to Brighton and get a draw.
No, I didn't. Neither did you. I think we're going back Brighton, yeah.
No, decent point. Honestly, it is a decent point. And, combining that with a couple of victories here and there, and they might be able to get out of it. It's close down there. They can't afford to lose this game at home to a team just above the bottom three. Really, they need to win it. But I'm going Everton. This Everton team, Sophie, I mean, they are so good. They just keep winning. The only thing I will say is Burnley could get something if James Trafford has a masterclass, because he was very good against Brighton. But I think Everton, I just think they do it. And it wouldn't surprise me if Decore scores.
Decore will score again.
Always scores. Burnley 1, Everton 2.
You're actually backing an Everton win. I am as well. They're looking very, very good. As you say, without their points deduction, they'll be right up there. Sean Dyche is getting the best out of those players. And can I see him getting a clean sheet? I'm going to say yes. For me, Everton win 2-0.
Wow.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah, they're looking good, yeah.
Do you know what would be a shame, though, for the neutral, is if Everton win this game comfortably, there will be a bit of a gap forming over the bottom three, and they could be cut adrift. Yes. So, although I'm heavy on Everton, I think it'd be more fascinating, I suppose, if Burnley pick up the results.
Yeah, but I don't see Everton going down anyway, so...
It's a good point.
Yeah,
good point.
Don't think it makes a difference.
On to the next one, Sophie. Let's go to the Emirates as Arsenal take on Brighton. Arsenal, I don't want to read too much into their defeat against Aston Villa. It was always a difficult game, and we did predict it. Yeah. What I will say, Sophie, is there was some rather... not very nice comments from the Arsenal fans.
Yes.
Yeah, we do see
Egg
you.
on our faces? I think not.
We see you, Arsenal fans, in the comments saying we're not going to lose to Villa, right? We didn't just say it for fun, okay? Villa have been good.
Yeah.
This game, Sophie, what are you thinking? I mean, Brighton. In previous years, they've been able to trip up Arsenal, and this would be a really bad time for Arsenal to not win again.
No, I think Arsenal get back to winning ways. They've got to.
And I agree. I agree. Arsenal fans, we are backing you this week. Brighton, a little bit silly how they dropped points to Burnley.
Yeah.
They went behind and only managed to muster up a point. Brighton are just a bit inconsistent, but on the same token, you could say they might actually just turn up and win this game.
Yeah.
But no, I will just go with Arsenal. I think Arsenal's quality. They've got to get back to winning ways. Arsenal 2, Brighton 1.
Yeah, 2-0 Arsenal for me. I feel like they'll get back to winning ways and fairly comfortably, to be honest. They need this win now if they don't want any gaps forming, because that title race at the moment is so tight. So they just need to focus on their games, win their games. You lost at Villa, so have 9 other teams. It's just one of them. Win your next one, which I think you will. 2-0.
Yeah, interesting. Both going for Arsenal there. And speaking of Villa, Sophie,
Here we go.
We're going to go to Aston Villa. They are away at Brentford, going down to West London for this one. Really interesting matchup this, Sophie, because Aston Villa are better at home. They're not bad away, but they are better at home. I need to point out, I backed them against Arsenal. I also backed them against City. Before that, I backed them for a 2-2 draw at Bournemouth.
Okay.
I'm getting pretty good with these Villa predictions.
They'll be keeping an eye on this for a bit.
Brentford, Sophie, they lost to Sheffield United, and I really do think they need to bounce back.
Yeah.
Brentford are a weird team. They're kind of like the middle team, aren't they?
Yeah, they are.
You kind of think like maybe sometimes there's just not much pressure on them because what are they? I don't want to say this in a mean way, but what are they playing for?
Yeah, they're not going to get relegated. They're not going to finish in the top 4. Maybe a top 6 finish.
Yeah.
That's it, really.
Whereas Villa, like, they'll be looking at this like, we really, really need to win because we are in a title race.
Yeah, they are.
We are in a title race. And we said it. We said it last video. You said it as well. If they beat Arsenal after beating Man City, they are in the mix. Now, look, they are better at home. So I wouldn't be surprised if Brentford can maybe take a 2-2 out of them. But do you know what? I'm just going to go with Villa again. I'm going to go Brentford 1. Villa 2. I think Villa just get the 3 points again and keep up the pressure.
I think it's going to be slightly easier for Villa. Brentford not impressed me past couple of games, and Villa have. I know we've said they're a much better team at home, but they're in a title race at the moment. I know Emery probably won't be saying to the players, look, we're in a title race. They're just going to focus on, I think, a top 4 finish. But realistically, right now, they are in a title race, but it's a long old season, so they need to win this one, and I feel like they will. 2-0.
2-0.
Yeah.
Okay, there you go. Both going for Aston Villa to win in West London. Share your predictions for Brentford versus Villa, guys. 2 games left, and next up, Sophie, we're going across to East London as West Ham United take on Wolves. I tell you what, Sophie, when I was looking at this fixture on paper, I was thinking, I think it's got a draw. It's got a draw written all over it. Yeah. And that's what I'm going to go for here. I think 2 sides that will be pretty unhappy with their results last week. West Ham in particular, losing 5-0 to Fulham, but at least they're not the only team to have done that recently. They could take some kind of consolation out of that. But Wolves will be disappointed because they played Forest, who came into it in poor form, and Wolves only managed to draw.
Yes.
I think Wolves have been very good this season.
They have.
West Ham have been very good at spells, and we've both said how much we like Jared Bowen.
Yeah.
I think 1 apiece. I'm going to go West Ham 1, Wolves 1, 2 mid-table teams for me that share the spoils.
Yeah, I actually agree with you, bang on there. 1-1, not much more I can say. At the time, I feel like they're fairly evenly matched, so a 1-1 will play out for me.
Yeah, I think these 2 managers as well, David Moyes and Gary O'Neill, are not going to take like too many risks in this game.
I don't think it's going to be an open game, is it?
Yeah, sort of play it safe.
Yeah.
Decent match though in terms of like even. Like, is it an even game? I think it will be. Sophie, let's go to the final game then at Anfield as Liverpool host Manchester United. Just a little friendly here.
Another little 7-0 for Liverpool, do you think?
Let's talk about this, Sophie. Liverpool are top of the league.
They are.
They've literally dived through the gap. They've seen Aston Villa beating Arsenal. They've seen Aston Villa beating City. And Liverpool have ploughed through that middle and gone to the top. They take on Manchester United, Sophie. And last week, I also got some pretty mixed comments from the Manchester United fans when I backed Bournemouth to win, and they were like, "What's this about? We've been improving."
I love the accent.
And then Bournemouth beat them 3-0.
Yeah, exactly. So you could have gone heavier.
Yeah, honestly. This is interesting. For me, this is the 2 biggest clubs in the country. You can't argue about that. When I was growing up, these 2 were the biggest. They still are the biggest. I'll be honest, Sophie, I don't hate Manchester United. I really don't hate Manchester United. I think it'd be great to see a title race where it's Liverpool v Man United because they hate each other, and I'd love to see it. But they are streets apart, Sophie. Liverpool are in the title race. Manchester United are in a sort of like mid-table race. I don't even know what you can call it. They're just floating around in no man's land. Liverpool will be fired up for this. It's at Anfield. Their fans will be right behind Klopp. They've got a cause, whereas Manchester United are just not doing it. Liverpool 5-0.
No, I don't know. I can't see 5-0 playing out. Liverpool, obviously they're looking way better at home, but they've not been that convincing. And I feel like in these games, do you take form into consideration? Because both teams should be fired up for this. I don't know, imagine a 0-0 plays out after all of that. I am going to lean towards Liverpool because Man United, there was just no fight in them, was there, at all against Bournemouth. I do feel like there will be fight against Liverpool, as obviously there is some bad blood there. But a bit of a tighter game for me. I'm going to say 2-1 Liverpool again.
Oh, 2-1 Liverpool.
I just see it being a tighter game.
There you go. Share your predictions, guys, because that is it. And we're finishing on a big one. Liverpool versus Manchester United. I know the Man United fans will be sharing me lovely comments. Thank you very
Leave
much.
some nice ones.
Guys, as always, please do make sure to share your comments down in the predictions. Even if you agree or disagree, just let us know down below. And while you're there, it takes 2 seconds to drop a like. Make sure you've hit the thumbs up button. Make sure you've hit the subscribe button. Go on, hit the subscribe button now. It takes 2 seconds as we are closing in on 50,000 subscribers. Thank you for joining me, Sophie.
Thank you.
We will see you guys in the next video. Peace out.